On the Way Home is proudly supported by Ellis Community Builders, a group formed within the Ellis group of companies to assist those who wish to deliver affordable and sustainable housing by providing development management services and leveraging Ellis turnkey cradle-to-grave project capabilities. We incorporate all that a world-leading development, construction, and building services company has to offer to provide innovative and sustainable developments that connect and energize communities. Our offering is not simply a development and construction solution. It's a holistic and comprehensive approach that ensures the delivery of assets that communities can be proud of. To learn more, please visit www.communitybuilders.ellisdon.com.
We at On the Way Home would like to acknowledge the original stewards of whose lands this podcast is recorded on. In York Region, we recognize we're on the traditional territories of the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe peoples, and that this is the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit. And in Vancouver, we acknowledge that we are on the unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh, whose presence on these lands continue to this day.
Welcome to On the Way Home. I am Michael Braithwaite from Blue Door, your host for today's show. We have two terrific guests, but before I get to the guests, let me tell you about one of the exciting things happening at Blue Door, my organization right now. Across York Region, there is a huge shortage of truly affordable and supportive housing, but I'm pleased to say our amazing partners at the Region of York are building a new 18-unit transitional housing unit that should be open in late spring or the summer, and that will be operated by Blue Door. So we're adding 18 single units to the housing stock, which is incredible. Lots of great things happening across the region, that being one of them. And so it's very, very cool. We're excited about that. And our partners in this podcast, of course, the Canadian Alliance to End Homelessness, always doing great work, always up to something good. Check out what they're doing at cah.ca. There's always webinars and information to share, things to get involved with. They're doing nation-leading work, so check it out. Now I'm going to get to today's guest. There's an event happening on February 26th across the country. It is pretty cool. It is called the Coldest Night of the Year. Blue Sea Philanthropy makes this available to organizations across the country to raise both awareness around homelessness, but also a great deal of funds for the work they do. And with us today, I have representatives from two organizations, one all the way in Newfoundland and one right in my backyard here in York Region. I'd like to welcome them to the show. We're going to start. I'm going to introduce Marj Andre. And Marj is from Blue Door and the Out of the Cold program that she's been involved with. She has been a part of the Coldest Night of the Year fundraiser since it began here 4 years ago. She regards herself as a community connector, working to bring people and organizations together to create a compassionate community, as well as being involved in a number of committees. Marj has the website on richmondhill.com. Listen, I've known Marj for a long time, probably since 2010 when I first came to the region. She is a powerhouse of connecting people and really supporting our most vulnerable. We are so lucky to have Marj as that community connector and as part of this walk in York Region. And she is joined by Katie Keats. Katie's from Choices for Youth. Listen, if you haven't heard of Choices, which most people listening to this podcast are involved in the sector, of course you've heard of Choices for Youth. They're doing leading work in the prevention and ending of homelessness for youth. And lots of great things happen in Newfoundland. They, don't talk about doing things, they do them. Whether it's social enterprise, and the variety that speaks to their name, choices of programs that they offer, they're really making a dent in, and they really make me a believer that we can and will end youth homelessness. Now, Katie is from Newfoundland and Labrador and holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree. Katie is an experienced fundraising event management professional and leads dynamic fundraising initiatives as the manager of fund development and communications at Choices for Youth. She's had this position for a lengthy amount of time, 3 weeks, in fact. but she has been at Choices longer than that. With many years of experience working in the Newfoundland Labrador community sector, Katie has a strong passion for social justice and believes that every young person can thrive when provided with the right support and opportunities. Katie is excited to be leading her second Coldest Night of the Year event in St. John's and will be joined by many other participants on February 26th for the province's only Coldest Night of the Year walk. Now, I say only because, take York region. There are 2, I believe, across York region. They're all over Canada, but in Newfoundland, this is the only one, so don't you dare miss it. Katie, Marj, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome to have you here. We begin every show with the same question because it's an important question. Marj, we'll start with you and then we'll go over to Katie. Marj, can you talk about what does home mean to you?
Yeah. I think of how I will often say to my adult sons, are you coming home this weekend? And, they've been gone for 10 years, but I still come on home. They'll come in, they'll put their feet up, they'll take an apple from the fruit dish. Unlike, say, a friend coming over, they feel comfortable. They feel they belong there. So that's really what home means to me.
Yeah, I'll jump in there, Marj. I agree. Home is what I would consider my safe space. It is the space where I don't have to be perfect, but I can be 100% me. It's a place where I can have all of my thoughts, my emotions, my feelings, and be comfortable. Similarly, I'm not from St. John's. I grew up out of town. I do live here now. But I often refer to, I'm going home for the weekend, to my parents. My parents are home. I believe that home is where my loved ones are, where my family is, where my dog is. I love him so much, and where my partner is, where my support system is. So home is that comfort feeling.
Very cool. Both great answers. There's no wrong answer, of course, because it's very personal what home means to each individual. But we hear those themes not about the physical structure, but we hear themes around comfort, around safety, and around that kind of point of origin I could always return to, and I'm going to be okay. Right? So Katie, I mentioned briefly the amazing work of Choices for Youth. They're doing innovative stuff. Can you highlight a few of the things that are happening right now at Choices?
Absolutely. Michael, you are so right. Choices for Youth is doing incredible, amazing work. Through innovative programming and social enterprise, we help youth and young families access stable housing, education, employment, all while working towards family stability and better health. So Choices is operating in the Metro St. John's area. I'll share with you a stat that kind of speaks to us that 63.5% of the homeless population in St. John's have traveled from outside of the city to access supports. So that brings us to one of our newest initiatives, is working on provincial expansion. Last month, we actually added a director, this is a mouthful, it's Director of Newfoundland and Labrador Integrated Youth Services to our team. And the plan is essentially to open up 4 sites across Newfoundland to support hundreds of youth, helping them stay close to their homes, their network, and their support systems. Essentially, the goal is taking the model that we operate here in St. John's around integrated youth services and expanding that to 4 new locations. I think a different, similar highlight would be recognizing our soft landing program. This program operates from a housing first model. It aims to provide rapid rehousing and shelter diversion approach. The program seeks to support youth to remain in their home communities or returning to their home communities, and provide support to prevent youth from entering into homelessness or other at-risk situations when arriving in St. John's. One thing that we hear when we talk to community partners is all the time is the lack or the few affordable and supportive options, housing options here in our province. So when we speak to our partners, one story that we hear multiple times is a young person approached them, they don't have housing, so they get put on a bus and come to St. John's. So knowing this, what can we do to support them when they arrive here? which is the soft landing program. The other side of that is the integrated youth services. That is to prevent this from happening in the first place. The one last really quick thing that I would love to highlight is our Upstream project, or sorry, Upstream NL program. In partnership with our local school district, the program is currently operating out of 2 junior high schools in our area. The program aims to be preventative. It's very preventative. It works by identifying young people in need of specific supports who may be at risk of leaving school, and it provides them and their families with the supports that they need. Again, I could go on and on about all the amazing work and the highlights, but I will leave it at, for more information, visit choicesforyouth.ca.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing stuff happening. We could have a bunch of shows on all the different innovative and cool things that Choices for Youth is doing. So thank you for highlighting a couple of them for us. Marj, you've been involved with Out of the Cold. Now, just under a year ago, Out of the Cold and Blue Door came together. We said, hey, let's have one door. It's not about 2 organizations. It's about the end user. Let's make it easier for them to access services. So we did that. But Out of the Cold's been around for 20 years plus. You've been involved for a number of years. How the heck did that happen?
I actually don't remember exactly how I got involved with Out of the Cold. There is this organization called Mosaic Interfaith that it is Mosaic Interfaith Out of the Cold. And I had been paying attention, attending events of Mosaic, and I met Rahana Samar, who's the executive director of then the Out of the Cold program. Now she's part of Blue Door. But got talking to her about what really the need, the situation with homelessness. And many people in New York region, particularly Southern New York region, no idea that there were homeless people. Like if I ask friends and neighbors, homeless people here, you really have to tell the story. So when you hear the story that there are people sleeping behind stores, in the cemeteries, in the ravines, it really is hard not to respond. So that's how, working with great people like Rahana, when she asks, you respond. She's a lot like you, Michael, that, people ask, when you ask people, they respond. So that, it feels good to be part of this Out of the Cold, to be supporting them.
Yeah, and this, you mentioned it too. I keep calling it Out of the Cold. Mosaic Interfaith. What makes this a little different? This program is faith-based, not that you have to belong to a faith base, but it is run by various faith groups throughout the region. Marj, maybe you could talk a little bit about that and how it works.
Yeah, York region is one of the most culturally diverse regions in Canada. So we always say faith-based versus churches, because yes, there are churches of every denomination. If you're, the United Church, Mennonites, it's everything. But as well, you have every level of Muslim faiths. You have Hindu temples. You have Baha'i organizations that have all stepped up. There's something fundamental about being involved with a religious organization, that you are helping those who need help. And the homeless are certainly those that need help.
Absolutely. And I think, both Katie and Marj would agree with me. While government certainly plays a part in preventing and ending homelessness, so does community. And the Mosaic Interfaith Out of the Cold is definitely an example of that, is community stepping up, saying, I'm going to be part of this solution. I'm going to give my time to really make a difference. And Marj, you're part of that. And we are grateful for that. Let's talk about Coldest Night of the Year. What exactly is it? Because it's on one particular day during the year. It may or may not be the coldest night of the year, but it's February. Let's face it, every day's fairly cold. And why is it important? Why do this nationally and together? Katie, we'll start with you and then go to Marj.
Absolutely. Coldest Night of the Year, which I may refer to as CNOY or Coldest Night. It's a fundraising walk, and it supports local charity partners who are providing the essential services and care for people who are experiencing homelessness, hunger, and hurt. It's important. We all know that it is so important. We can't exaggerate how important this is, because walkers come together and are collecting donations that fund the critical programs and services of charities who are supporting those vulnerable individuals that are in their community that need their support. One thing that I'd love to share that kind of really captures it gets my appreciation, and I think it really captures why the event is so important. And the sentence is, each step we take brings someone closer to safety, health, and home, as together we raise funds for organizations whose commitment and work transforms people's lives.
Thank you for sharing that. Awesome and well said. Marj, anything to add?
Yeah, the Coldest Night of the Year is, it's a great organization. We were fortunate that the organizers aren't there that far away. They actually came and met with us. And the people there were very sincere, very principled. They had experience doing fundraisers, so they knew what to do, what was needed. So they built an incredible website, both for people organizing it, and then for people who are donating, having teams sponsoring. So all that has just been really very, very positive for what they have been able to do.
Yeah, it's incredible. And so people understand, and Marj and Katie know what I'm talking about, and anyone who works in the fundraising world, quite often people will say, well, why don't you just hold an event? Now, events are really time consuming. They often break even or don't make money. And sometimes people have a lot of fun at an event, but they leave it and say, what was that all about, right? Coldest Night of the Year really it creates awareness. There's hundreds of organizations across the country doing this event. So there's a huge awareness there. It gives people the opportunity to actually feel the cold and just for a short while think, wow, this is what people experience. 250,000 Canadians experiencing homelessness across the country feel on any given night, whether it's freezing cold, wet rain, crazy heat, that kind of thing. You're part of that experience for a short while, and it raises that awareness, right? So it really does. Awareness check. And it raises millions of dollars. And what this event does is it gives everyone, it saves a lot of time because the template's there, it's web-based, all the different materials you need are there and given you, which saves people on the ground like Marj and Katie a ton of time rather than developing this all themselves. So it's really neat. And then you're part of a movement. It's not just an event, it's actually a movement across the country. So wherever you are across the country, if you're listening to this, look for a Coldest Night of the Year event. They're happening everywhere. Look for one near you and take place. And if it's happening virtual, which many are, and we'll talk about that in a minute, that means you could do it, do a 5K walk just around where you live, right? You don't have to go anywhere. Some are in person, some are virtual. Let's talk a little bit about that. Marj, what does the walk look like for your organization this year, and what is your goal? And then Katie, will go same question to you.
Okay. This is the second year that we have gone virtual, and first 2 years we had great events. Yes, it was lots of work organizing who's going to be the route captains and what food are we going to serve and all those things, and DJ and such. So no, we don't have to do that, but it is difficult to do a virtual event to get people motivated to still give to the cause. So last year we just had merged. What are we going to do? We put our two totals together and rounded down a bit. We had hoped to raise 80,000. We raised over 160,000, and that was just, it felt so good, so amazing to see such support. This year, we went virtual. I'm a very cautious person, and I don't want to even suggest that people get together, just, for safety. But we are doing it virtually. It's being a bit more of a challenge this year. People are weary. I think we'll still do well. We have to work hard for this last period of time, this last little bit before the February 26th date, though people can donate afterwards. But we're going to have a good event. We're going to get teams, I think, are going to get together. I have one friend, though, who says she's going to do the walk on a treadmill. So I'm not, she wants to raise funds and do it on a treadmill. Go ahead. So.
Absolutely. Katie, how about for choices?
Yes, very similar. This would actually be Choices for Youth's 9th Coldest Night of the Year walk. For me personally, it is my second time leading the event, and also both of those have been virtual. So I haven't actually been involved in any of the in-person events, and last year was so close. We actually did not shift to a virtual participation only event until 10 days before the event. So it was a bit of a scramble, but we did it, and we did it so well. We had a goal of 48,000, and we achieved our goal. I think we raised just over 49,000. So that kind of brought us to this year where we were like, let's go for 50,000. Let's beat the goals. Let's keep getting those record-breaking goals. We are 17 days away, and I kind of feel the same as Marj, almost, that people are enjoying the virtual, but also people miss that in person. I think that we'll be working hard to get our goal this year, but we are 17 days away. People are gonna rally together. Newfoundlanders and Labradorians tend to be very last minute with stuff, and I expect nothing less here. So I'm excited to see where the next 17 days bring us. I think for the virtual event itself, it's very, you do it yourself, you do it your way, as Marj said, treadmill, whatever that looks like. So we're going to be having a lot of direct connection and communication and contact with our walkers, with our sponsors. We'll offer a walk kit pickup session, and we'll be very heavy on the social media platforms throughout the day of the event day. I think a goal going forward is fingers crossed for the in-person events next year. In the past, we've had 200, 300, 400 walkers rally together and show their support, and I'm hoping next year's the year that I get to experience it and be involved, and I can't wait.
Now, I know a large part of the culture in Newfoundland has had to shift because screeching in with COVID has been more difficult, right? It's not advised. Will screeching in, if it's in person next year, be part of the event? How does that work?
I'm going to leave that to next year's planning committee. I'm going to assume that probably not, but hey, we're always open to new ideas, so let's chat next year.
Look at that. There's every walk's a little different, so you can incorporate a little bit of local culture in there. For folks who might not know, can you tell us what screeching in is?
Yes, it's kissing a fish. No, it's anybody who comes to Newfoundland for the first time. You generally get screeched in, and there's a pub downtown that specializes it, or you can have somebody come to your home like that. I'm not exactly familiar with how they are operating with the COVID rules. I am a Newfoundlander, and I'm born and raised in Newfoundland and Labrador, so personally never gotten screeched in. But Michael, I will let you know if we do that next year, and I'll be expecting you to be our first connection.
I will be there for sure. Listen, a lot of money raised. As you said, I think what we're seeing a little bit of COVID fatigue, right? Where people ask, we're like, hey, we're coming out of this. We got to support our local organizations. They're gung-ho. They raise money. We're seeing that slow down a little bit this year. But let me be the first to say, listen, our most vulnerable need us more than ever. We've got to step it up. We've got to hit these goals. These programs are depending on these dollars coming in. And it's a way, listen, what else are you going to do? There's nothing to do during COVID. Go out, take a great walk with your family, raise some money, and feel good about it, right? Now, let's talk about the money, where it goes. Marj, where does the money go in York region that's raised for Blue Door and the Mosaic Interfaith Out of the Cold?
Yeah, most of the money raised is earmarked to help out the shelters. Pre-COVID, there were shelters. We had 20 different locations, operated some different times of the year. It's now 2 locations, 4 days, 4 days of the week, and 3 days of the week. And not as many people can actually come in because of COVID restrictions. There are such great costs, though, with COVID. It costs, the ladies from the church are not coming in to cook. You need to buy the food and bring it in. All the PPEs, all the cleaning supplies cost so much. So the need for extra funds is so there. So yeah, I'm so hoping that the community does step up as it did last year.
Very cool. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, for a program that is very volunteer-based, but volunteers can't do that, you have to bring in actual staff, contract staff to do it. Costs go way up, and the need is as high as ever. So it's great that the funds are going that way for Blue Door and Mosaic Interfaith Out of the Cold. Katie, where do the funds go for choices?
So any funds raised from Choices for Youth's Coldest Night of the Year event walk stays within Choices for Youth, directly supporting our programs and services. Specifically, it helps fund our Outreach and Youth Engagement Center. Our Outreach Center is the front door of Choices for Youth. It is where it's usually the first point of contact that a young person would have when they're looking for help. The Outreach Center is a safe space for young people. They can drop by and use their phone or use the internet, talk to a support worker, eat a meal, get a hot shower, or even connecting with members of the on-site medical team. Kind of comparing, I guess, a little information from last year. So last year, the Outreach Center itself, so this one particular program, supported over 700 youth. It served over 8,000 meals and provided over 900 mental and physical health actions. So any funds raised from Coldest Night of the Year help make that work possible. So very, very important.
Fantastic. Yes, and thank you, because that's really the question sometimes. All right, I'm going to raise money. What are you going to use it for? Thank you for those answers. And listen, I encourage everyone to go to cnoy.org, find the organization closest to you. If you're in Newfoundland, there's only one. Sign up there. If you're in York Region, there are two, our friends from the Cold that do amazing work. You can sign up for theirs, or you can sign up for the Blue Door and Mosaic Interfaith Out of the Cold walk. Hey, listen, we don't care which one. Just get out and do some good. I am signed up, as everyone on this call. Marj is leading our fundraising, her team. So she is putting, she is leading the way, saying, hey, I'm not just I'm just someone talking about this. I'm doing the work. I'm leading the way. I have a goal of raising $10,000. I'm at 3. I'm going to push hard in these next 17 days. So here's my plan, right? I kind of put out to the community and said, I'm willing to embarrass the heck out of myself or do anything slightly crazy to make sure I hit that $10,000 goal, because it's important. So I've got this kind of Viking costume I'm going to wear during my walk. But if I hit $10,000, I'm going to end my walk in Lake Ontario. And let me tell you right now, if I could find a piece that's not covered in ice, that's where I'm going to end it. So it truly will be a very, very coldest night of the year for me. But only if I hit that $10,000. And why do I do this, Katie? Why do I do it? Because we live in a very cruel society sometimes, and they will pay to see you suffer, especially me. People like to see me suffer. I've found it in the past in my fundraising, where I've said the higher heights I take it, the more people will throw money down, not only to support our amazing cause, of course, but to see me suffer. You both are fundraising, I suppose. I said Marj is. Katie, you too?
Absolutely.
What's your goal?
Personal goal for this year is it was 500 and it is now 1,000, and I hope that it continues to increase every day until February 26th, and even after, as long as I can, we'll be increasing that. Nice.
Good for you. Marj, what is your goal? I know you're crushing it, but
yeah, it's 2,500. I'm almost there. So, but my team goal is 10,000. But there's no way we're jumping in the lake. I have all rational, sensible people that I know. So we may get a goal of 10,000, but we're staying warm.
We may need a new host.
Marj, here's the question. Marj, how about if Michael gets 10,000, he jumps in the lake? If your team gets 10,000, Michael jumps in the lake.
Yes.
Second time's not as bad, but absolutely. If that's what it takes, we will do that, and let's help everyone get to their goal. I have no doubt both of you will crush that goal with that kind of enthusiasm that you're putting forward. So let's talk about people. Where can people go to sign up? I think we mentioned, of course, the website coldestnightoftheyear.org. But if they want to find out about your organizations, where do they go, Marj?
Yeah, so go to Blue Door, and you can find out about all the great work that you and all the other great staff there are doing. The Out of the Cold program is described there as well.
Perfect. And there's a link there to get involved. What about choices? What if I can't figure out how to put cnoy.org into my browser? Can I go to choices to find out about the walk?
Absolutely. Visit the website, visit our social media pages, call my cell phone, give me a text, send a pigeon. I will answer any questions. Specifically, if you want to get directly there, cnoy.org/St. John's. I think it's really important to kind of focus on like somebody is asking the questions of, okay, I sign up, what's next, what's involved?
Yeah.
And I think a big piece of that is individuals and businesses both have opportunity to get involved as either a walker, registering a team, becoming a sponsor. Once they start fundraising, depending on kind of what category is selected as you go through the sign-up process, might put you in an industry or group or category, and from that, the team can join what we call a corporate challenge, and basically that is a scoreboard that displays the leaders across the country. So it's really interesting to see. I follow it every day. My team is not on it yet, but we are going to work on it. But it's so great to see, and it's such a great motivation tactic. It's if only you raise another $1,000, then I get on that board. Or I can see, not necessarily from Choice's perspective, but my friends, they work at the local bank, and they can see that the bank over in BC has raised more than them, so they want to compete. So absolutely great way to stay motivated. Highly recommend checking it out. And something else that is huge this year, same as last year and hopefully years to come, is that there's no registration fee. And there are some implications for that, but the other thing to highlight is, as a thank you, adult participants who raise $150 or more keep going, or individuals aged 17 and under who raise $75 or more receive a toque, and that is a 2022 limited design. So if you want to get that toque, you have to raise it this year. Come back next year and get a whole brand new toque, new design. So it's fantastic. It's easy to sign up. It's easy to get involved. Any questions at all, certainly visit the Choices website, again, social media pages, or even connect with me directly. My direct email is kkeats@choicesforyouth.ca. I'm happy to help you sign up.
Very true. Thank you for that, Katie. There's a lot of ways to get involved. So if you're saying, hey, my company wants to sponsor it, great. Look for your local organization, do that. Maybe your company is a national company. You want to sponsor all sorts of us throughout the country. That's okay too. No one's going to say no. As an individual, you can join up, do the walk from your home. As a family, join another team. So many ways to get involved. And look, this is easy. When you say, what can I as a lone Canadian do to end homelessness? This is something you could do. No one is going to clock you. This is not a race. I mean, Katie and Marj might make it, sound like that. But look, there's only winners in this walk. Go at your own pace. Take as many breaks as you want. Stop for a coffee. It's okay. Post it all over social and share it, right? This is big. We're building awareness. I think that Canadians are a very, very caring group of people. But as Marj said before, sometimes we don't see it. In larger areas, more rural areas, you don't see homelessness, right? So, I guess it doesn't exist. It does. 250,000 Canadians across the country on any given night are experiencing homelessness. And in a country like ours, that is unacceptable. This is a very solvable issue. You have groups like Blue Door, Choices, looking to solve that, and they're doing great work. The least we could do is let's sign up for this walk and be a part of that solution. Katie and Marj, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, and great to see you, Marj.
And we're done. Just like that. All right. So how are we, Mike? I see that. Is everyone good to go? So I'll do a wrap up after, but you don't have to stay to watch that disaster. But Thank you. I actually liked the fact we did a trial run. I thought we nailed it. Second time we were crushing it.
Okay. And I apologize for my technical difficulties, but we all do them. So, yeah. So good luck, Katie. I'll be watching your score. So, yes. So
Thanks, we'll be watching.
We'll see if Michael jumps in the lake.
Oh, it will happen.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't mean to brag, but I didn't wear my Hurry hoodie on this show, but I did get one.
Ooh, fancy.
Yes. It's I put it away. It's only for one night. All right. Thank you so much for joining. This will come out next Thursday, and so we'll throw it out on social media. And if you can help push that out, it'd be much appreciated.
Definitely. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
Are we?
Yep, thanks.
Are we downloaded? I'm seeing like a 99% on my screen.
You guys are keeners. You guys are in the 99% to 100% category, so you're good.
We're good?
As soon as you hang up, it'll be uploaded.
Okay, so we can press the red phone. Okay, thank you.
All right, bye.
Thank you. Great chatting.
Yeah, man. Hammer it. Wow, another great episode of On the Way Home with some passionate guests talking about the Coldest Night of the Year event that is happening on February 26th across the country. Listen, it's an easy way to get involved. Walk, crawl, run, hop. I don't think you can ride your bike. That's cheating. Take your dog, take your family. You can do it anytime before the 26th, on the 26th. Go to cnoy.org. Find the Coldest Night of the Year walk that's closest to you and become part of the solution. It's an easy way to get involved. Send an email out to a few of your friends, raise a few dollars, and be part of the solution to ending homelessness. This happens every year. You get a really cool toque for taking part, but you're going to be a part of that movement called Coldest Night of the Year, like Marj and Katie. Great guests, great things happening, and that contributes to preventing and ending homelessness across the country. So be a part of that solution, and we'll see you next time on the way home.